Welcome to the box seat previewing racing at Ascot on Saturday, the 10th of April 2021. The rail's at 5 metres, the track is a good 4. Conditions are ideal for racing, and again like last week, importantly for punters to note, an easterly breeze blowing which typically lends itself to on-speed racing. Race number 1 is the second heat of the West Speed Platinum Series. We're going to go watch the last start victory of Prize Nemesis.
The way by a length, uncanny timing. They've dropped off Lord Lonsdale. Back on the inside is Carabinaire, but Pink and Grey had now race clear inside the 175. Pink and Grey by 2. Prize Nemesis is starting to accelerate quickly though, and Prize Nemesis dashes up to head off Pink and Grey, who offered nothing, and Prize Nemesis swept past it to win. Prize Nemesis
has definitely turned a corner with Annie King. He arrived at her stables as pretty much a 20-start maiden. Since then, he's won twice and placed twice from only 5 starts with Annie, so she's done a wonderful job with this horse, and he probably can win again from the inside draw. I am, however, typically talking about those inside draws, going to side here with City Circle for Neville Parnham's yard. You go through her last 4, 5, 6 runs this preparation. They've all been from wide gates. She's raced 3 wide without cover a number of times. She's burnt hard early to find the breeze on a number of other occasions. Whereas on Saturday, off the 7-day backup, she can sit close handy from the draw. She was actually backed last week to beat Requisition, who looked immoral on paper, and I thought her second placing effort was full of merit. So for me, one of the better bets on the program in race number 1, that's number 4 in City Circle. Number 3, Fiery Water, maybe a touch disappointing first up, off the back of what was an impressive trial. Number 1, Prize Nemesis, if he can reproduce that turn of foot as we just saw in replay. And number 7, Michelle Marbell, a leader on a leader's day. My numbers in race number 1, 4, 3, 1 and 7. Race number 2 is the Pepsi Max Handicap over a mile. Very rarely we watch a horse in replay who ran 7th, but this was just so luckless. It was a very impressive return to racing. Even though nothing went right, it's number 1, Notorious One.
Rogues Point again come together down the outside. Wild Fusion, Tin Snip climbing over the backs, can't get a run. Depara's down the outside, so's Katona. Lucky Linda Lulu down 4 still there. It's on the outside, Depara, Wild Fusion, down 4, Katona. Lucky Linda Lulu, heads are bobbing everywhere. Oh, I don't know where to look.
I think most people will agree that the run is a lot better than just running 7th of 14, because Brad Parnham was never able to get Notorious One into a good spot. 3-back defence in a slowly and muddlingly run race. He was pulling, he got off heels, he got onto heels, he came around them, he tried to get into the race, but nothing went right for him first up. It was luckless. He's better suited second up at a mile. Hopefully from the inside draw he gets some galloping room, and if we do see the best of Notorious One, he's definitely one of the horses to beat. I did side in race number 2 though with number 6 in Standout Rose, a Blackfriars filly of Bruce Watkins, who's flying this campaign. A really good trial before she beat Miss Vasari first up. She then was arguably a moral beaten second up when finding a lot of traffic. And just 7 days ago, I thought she hit the line very, very well behind a highly talented and emerging 3-year-old called Billy Ain't Silly. She will get back, so she does have track conditions against her, but I think she's good enough to overcome them here in the small field. Number 6, Standout Rose. Number 3, Lord Lonsdale, should find the front under Brad Ruella, and if they allow him to get away with a few cheap sections with the easterly wind blowing, he will be very hard to run down. Number 1, Notorious One, if he gets some luck, and number 2 from the inside draw in Eurasia. Numbers in race number 2, 6, 3, 1 and 2. Race number 3, Coolridge Handicap, over 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds. We go back to the midweekers and we watch the dominant display of Captain Chaos.
Wins by 2. Now Captain Chaos sets after it. Noble Reflection is down the outside. So's Holy Ghost. Captain Chaos got on equal terms and shortly afterwards hit the lead at the 100. Captain Chaos boots away from Noble Reflection. Holy Ghost is trying valiantly down the outside, but Captain Chaos was too strong.
Michael Grantham has this 3-year-old low flying at the moment. A very dominant maiden victor, where 5 horses that were beaten behind him have all broken their maiden status since. Went not from a maiden to a Class 1, but a maiden straight into a Class 3, where he was $3 into $1.70. The punters did not miss him that day, and they were duly rewarded. He should be from the gate coming to sit in the breeze, or I actually thought Chris Parnham might just roll to the top here. And if he does find the front, you might well get the scenario of the best horse in the best position in racing, and that's out in front, especially on a track that should suit those on speed. And he does look like he can take the step from a Class 3 straight into a 62 plus Saturday race. I think he can make it 3 from 3 for Michael Grantham and Chris Parnham. Captain Chaos, number 2. Number 1, Callaroo, the winner of the Faritha Stakes, went last in work. He beat Western Empire that day. It has to be a good form reference for a race like this. Number 5, Critical Altitude, who was only nailed on debut by number 7, How's the Serenity. I do think that will hold up, even though it was only a midweeker. My numbers in race number 3, 2, 1, 5 and 7. Race number 4 is the Crown Perth Plate for the juveniles. These are the 2-year-olds after the Karrakatta Plate, what's left of them, and maybe you will just see a couple of them head towards the sires. This was a very impressive last start victory. It's Ain't No Other Man.
Straight they balance up. Electric Rose dashes to the lead. Over on the outside, Ain't No Other Man is starting to close the margin down very quickly, however, and Ain't No Other Man at the 175 races up to grab the lead down the outside. Awesome Rival is making ground, but it's Ain't No Other Man who lands very good bets. Ain't No Other Man beat home the fast finish.
Hard not to be impressed with the way that he let down when Jordan Turner pressed the button. He covered them in a matter of strides, and he looked like he was just floating in the last 100, and probably, if he had something to chase, could have won by a little bit further, if that makes sense. I think here from the inside draw, if Jordan Turner has him in the box seat and he gets the splits at the right time, he's going to be very hard to beat. But I did think he ran into a horse who looks very well placed back into a set weights and penalties race, and that's our likely favourite here in featherweight. Dan Morton had a throw at the stumps last start. He put featherweight in the Perth Stakes. The Perth Stakes contained Export Man, who was the Karrakatta Plate winner, so it's very, very good form for a race like this. Not sure what he does from the draw, Chris Parnham, but I think if he gets every chance here featherweight, he's the one they need to beat, number 3. From 1, Ain't No Other Man, and they probably do look your Quinella on paper. Number 8, Plemont. We like this filly on debut, and she didn't let us down on a quote. She went around at 20 to 1, and she ran second behind the $1.30 pop in Flying Missile. Number 7, Awesome Rival, who comes from the same replay behind Ain't No Other Man. I just wonder whether or not this horse needs another preparation to start doing some things right. My numbers in race number 4, 3, 1, 8 and 7. Race number 5, Amelia Park Handicap at a mile. One of the more dominant trial victories you'll ever see. This is Cockney Crew making a mess of them.
All on its lonesome out in front and guides them into the front straight. Leads clearly. Breathe Fame. Star of Bonnie Rose. Trying to make some ground to the outside of those two is Aragain. Then Pretty Friar. Under sufferance at the rear is High Energy. But the 2019 WACT Derby runner-up Cockney Crew is producing an emphatic performance here. It's well clear of Aragain, Pretty Friar, but Cockney Crew bolts in. Cockney Crew defeats...
Jay McNaught really just did have Cockney Crew in a different trial to the rest of them. Once she started to roll from the 800 in that 1200 metre trial, the trial was over and it was always going to be a space job. He won by just over 10 lengths in the finish and looked the goods there. Hopefully we get to see the best of this horse. He ran second to Regal Power in a derby one day, so we know that his best is good enough, but he's had a number of issues here for Kieran McDonough. Hopefully on the weekend we see the best of Cockney Crew, but the jury is definitely going to be out on whether or not we'll ever see the best of him again. I'm going with a horse that's been very good to us here on the box seat. We continue to tip him, we continue to back him, and he continues to win. Don't see why it won't be the same on the weekend. And it's number 4, That's Funny As. Led all the way to win an 18, led all the way to win a mile. Both of those were off 21 days, and he's off the same 3-week spacing here. I think Dion Luciani has worked him out, and he can continue on through the grades. Number 4, That's Funny As. Number 8, My Greek Boy, who always puts in a peak performance off 7 days. He's drawn the box seat in what looks a high-speed, high-pressure race at a mile. Number 1, Cockney Crew. Number 7, Bogart. Hard to catch Bogart. He's not a favourite of mine, but he does profile well for a race of this nature. My numbers in race number 5, 4, 8, 1 and 7. Race number 6 is the Solo Zero Handicap over 1200 metres. We'll watch the third placing effort at his return of some sort.
A lot of luck on the fave. Some Sort in the meantime booted away at the 252. Clear Diablerie Creator. Now she's into the open. Here comes Amacinas now. She's surging through in the middle at the 100. Amacinas ranged up to Some Sort Creator. Amacinas put pay to them. Amacinas completes the hat-trick. Beat Creator. Third home Some Sort.
I really am loving all the form around Amacinas at the moment. No matter where you go to different races, anything that's been beaten behind Amacinas has gone well at their next start, a la Requisition last week, who was plunged and victorious. I think this is another similar case here. Some Sort gets the blinkers, second up run, straight to the front, a leader on a leader's day. I think he's mighty hard to beat here, and I was very impressed with the way that he resumed. His trial leading into it was with blinkers. His first up run was without. I think if the shades have the same effect as they did down the straight at Pinjarra, he'll be very hard to run down here. One of the better bets on the program too, Some Sort, number 3 to lead throughout. Number 8, Absolute, who was getting lots of the line really well in the same replay that we just watched. Gate number 1, William Pike, definitely dangerous late. Number 9, Angelic Miss, a talented mare resuming, but probably going to concede them both a head start. And number 7, Glasgow Girl, who got the chocolates just last week, but this is definitely a tougher assignment. My numbers in race number 6, 3, 8, 9 and 7. Race number 7 is one of the features. It's the Marjorie Charlson Classic for fillies and mares. We're going to watch the first time that Clairvoyance ever got beaten. This is her running second just last week.
Zeeble first into the home turn, led the way. Clairvoyance being asked to go, and then 3/4 Riverbow, who's going better than her at the moment. At the 175, and Riverbow ranges up, goes to Clairvoyance. Plutocracy gets the inside run. Riverbow draws a half a length on Clairvoyance, trying to rally. Platinum Bullet jumping right out of the ground, but Riverbow wins it.
Well, apart from maybe people that launched into $1.35, I don't think that she would have lost any admirers there, Clairvoyance. She resumed from a 400-metre jump out into an 1100. She was coming from 3-year-old company up into a 78 plus. She sat in the breeze. She looked under pressure turning for home. Not quite sure what went wrong for her, whether she was underdone, whether she ran her race in patches, whether she switched on and switched off. Not quite sure, but definitely willing to forgive and forget. And I'll follow up with her here, Clairvoyance. The big tick in her box here is I think Chris Parnham can find the front and find it pretty cheaply. And if Clairvoyance does find the front here, when he puts the foot down at the 600, they might not see which way she went. I think that she'll win the Marjorie Charlson Classic, number 9, Clairvoyance. Number 2, Cryptic Love, who is a noted winner off the fresh spacing, comes into this some 35 days between runs, but was victorious off 42 days, only last preparation. Number 1, Watch Me Dance. Number 3, Platinum Bullet. I think they're genuine top 4 chances, but most of these horses may be gasping for air if the real Clairvoyance turns up. I think she'll lead all the way. My numbers in race 7, 9, 2, 1 and 3. Race number 8 is our feature on the weekend. It's the Schweppes WATC Derby over 2,400 metres. Western Empire made them look silly in the Mel Vista. This was his arrogant victory.
With Outback Jack and said, come on Pikey, see if you can run me down with a favour. And Pikey said, I'll oblige. Western Empire ranged up very quickly to Outback Jack with 150 to go. He races a length clear of him now. Outback Jack is battling on, but it's Western Empire being pushed out to the post. Pricked his ears up, 1 3/4 Outback Jack, who came again.
Western Empire did only win by 3/4 of a length in the end, but if William Pike had really tested him, really pushed the button, then he probably would have won by 2, 3 or even 4 lengths. He looked to have plenty in the tank, and Willie Pike did confirm that in a post-race interview, that he was looking after him as he steps out to the 2,400 of the Derby here. He's drawn a wide gate. He may even be dragged back to last, but once these horses start to stack up at the 600, he'll be marching into it, and he'll go round very deep in the red. He's currently $1.45 fixed odds betting, and he probably does jump around that 2's on type of quote. I think he makes it a Lex Piper, JC Roberts, Mel Vista Stakes, WATC Derby quadruple, and hopefully we get to see this horse at least once or twice more in WA, but he does look destined for bigger and better things over in the East Coast. Number 1 to win the Derby, Western Empire. Number 8, the Filly Temptation, who loomed into it like the winner of the Oaks, but just peaked in the last furlong. Should get a soft run here, and she does have a nice turn of acceleration. Number 2, Outback Jack, who we saw in replay there. And while he was impressive, and while he got within 3/4 of a length of Western Empire, From the Mel Vista to the Derby, he has to concede him 3 kilos for getting beaten. At set weights, it makes it awfully tough for Outback Jack. And number 6, Lunar Impact, the surprise victor, the maiden victor of the Group 3 WA Oaks. My numbers in race number 8, 1, 8, 2 and 6. Race number 9 is the Furphy Handicap over 1,400 metres to round out our WATC Derby Day program at Ascot. We go down to Pinjarra, watch the all-the-way victory of Tommy Blue.
By Orange Strudel, and to the outside is Heart of Kerr winding up. By the 300 though, Tommy Blue being tested by Thrilled. Lil Red Bikini over on the outside. Pike has to go to work on Tommy Blue. Thrilled on the outside, draws level, but Pike starts to really will the fave Tommy Blue. Tommy Blue responds to the Wizard, and Tommy Blue beat off Thrilled.
Good strong win there by Tommy Blue, all the way under Willie Pike. I probably have 2 slight queries on that replay there. One, the fact that she led on a day which really did favour those leaders at Pinjarra Park. And 2, the next start effort of the second horse in Thrilled, who definitely didn't flatter here last weekend. So I'm a little bit of a query on the form, and so I'm going to go for a horse that hasn't won for a long, long time, but has definitely shown some encouraging signs over here in the West, and it's number 8, Creator. Over 700 days since his one and only victory, and that was, I think, on debut as a 2-year-old. So it's a long time now between drinks, but his first up effort behind Universal Pleasure was good. His second up effort behind Amacenas and Some Sort was excellent. 1,400 better for him than 12, drawn a gate to sit close handy. Clint Johnston Porter riding well. I think Saturday could be the day for number 8, Creator. Number 7, Bruce Almighty. Number 6, Tommy Blue. Both on speed, both honest. And number 5, Point Taken, who is not going to get much luck from the draw, you wouldn't think, but that first up run was an absolute blinder. My numbers in race number 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5. Best bets time at Ascot on Saturday the 10th of April 2021. Race 1, number 4, City Circle. Race 6, number 3, Some Sort. We'll see you on the weekend out at Ascot. Tickets, perthracing.com.au.